Conversations and coffee. A couple announcements real quick. Obviously, Ellen O'Shaughnessy, our coordinator, is not here this week, so I'm trying my best to fill in. So thanks everybody for joining us today. Before we get started, just a couple notes. We do have a special event coming up Friday night that I wanted to tell you about. You maybe noticed on your way in, we have a new exhibition that we just kind of installed this week. It's Paso Stahler 2019, and this is a show that's kind of celebrating some of the Latino voices from the Columbus arts community. We're really excited to be able to do this again. We're partnering with Kappa, and it's going to be kind of in partnership with Festival Latino, which happens kind of across the river from here, downtown. So if anybody's interested in joining us for that celebration, a chance to meet some of the artists who are in the exhibition, that's going to be tomorrow night, right here in our main gallery from 6 to 8 p.m. Also, just a quick note I wanted to mention. Most of you probably frequent Conversation Coffee attendees probably have our scheduled events. There is, I just got word just this morning that we might have a schedule shift for next week. The artist, I think there was a singer who was going to be joining us next week, and we just got notice that she might not be able to attend next week. So with Ellen not here, I'm not qualified to make any decisions about what we're doing next week, but we'll try to make sure that we kind of notify people as best as possible if we're making any switch for next week's schedule. I guess I would recommend it's probably best to check our website if you have the, or call into the desk. We'll hopefully soon know what the plan is for next time. Okay, enough about that then. We're very pleased to have a special guest today. Jeff Stahler is here with us. He's a Columbus resident and a terrific artist. Many people know him around the country as the cartoon artist from the cartoon Moderately Confused, and so he's got some wonderful samples. But folks might not know that he's also a established painter, and he's represented in town here by Sharon Weiss Gallery. He's brought some wonderful things to share with us today, so I'm going to pass the microphone on. I hope you'll welcome Jeff Stahler.
I'm going to start off by just, I have a short little 5-6 minute segue that just kind of introduces myself. It's a segment that Broad and I did earlier this year. And so if I can get this
There, okay.
there it is.
Time lapse there.
Watercolors. You can't back up. Once you've started, you cannot put another color on top of it. So you have to work very fast. Plein air artist is the type of artist in the environment. Plein air is a French word and means outdoor painter. And I started doing it only about 4 or 5 years ago. Schiller Park is a beautiful park. It's a 22-acre park. It's in German Village. It's a park that attracts a lot of dogs, a lot of people, a lot of walkers, a lot of runners. It's so nice that the plein air paint.
Jeff, can you put the volume up?
It's sure relaxing. Not that the cartooning is. It's just a whole different animal. I graduated in advertising with an illustration minor. I worked for several years in advertising, but I always wanted to cartoon. I did some cartooning for a magazine, actually a weekly newspaper in Columbus, Ohio. I was able to open another door, and it opened for me in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I was a cartoonist for them at the Cincinnati Post for 22 years. Editorial cartooning cartoon is a cartoon with a point of view, trying to find a little bit of humor in it. But typically it's going to fall on an opinion page, so it wants to have, and an editor wants to have an opinion associated with the cartoon. It might not be funny, but many times I'm hoping that it is. When I got into editorial cartoon back in the early 80s, I think I was right at the beginning of the Reagan administration. So I've worked through all the presidents since then. And they're all a challenge, and some of them are easier than others. I started as a one-panel cartoonist doing editorial cartoons, and so I got that science of that type of gag down. I felt very comfortable then moving on to doing Moderately Confused, which is social commentary on a different level, but appearing on comic pages. I'm contracted to do 3 to 4 editorial cartoons every week, and I do 6 daily panels for Moderately Confused. So it's a total of 9 to 10 cartoons I do every week. I work 4 weeks in advance on Moderately Confused, whereas an editorial cartoon, I put it out the next day. You have to have thick skin in this business, but it's so rewarding, it's so much fun. And people always ask, so what's your favorite cartoon? And it's the one I did today. That's it.
Okay, so I'll start from there. I brought a lot of show and tell today. There's a lot of people here, so we can pass things around. Just try to maybe keep your food off of them. But what I brought with me was for example, if you saw today's dispatch, on the comics page, this is today's Moderately Confused. I do Moderately Confused. I have to do it a month ahead of time. So to keep up with the deadlines and all, I have to be usually about 5 to 6 weeks ahead of myself, just so if I'm not feeling well or doing a noonday talk someplace that I can't get my deadlines, I'm covered. So this is the size of work. This is an original cartoon. I usually you can pass them around. And then I brought, here, pass this one this way. Some of these are actual cartoons that Moderately Confused that I've done here. I'll put this over here. These are moderately, one of them passing around is, I think will appear next week in the paper. And these are, I don't waste any paper, so I take a lot of Xeroxes, I doodle my ideas out. So I just do a quick pen and ink just to get the idea, the thought, maybe to re-edit an idea, work on it to hone down the caption maybe a little bit to make it tighter so it works better. I do bounce some ideas off. My syndication is out of Kansas City, and I've worked with this editor for now probably close to 20 years. So he's been with me since the beginning of Moderately Confused, and I've done editorial cartoons for now 35 plus years. So Moderately Confused is now 17 years old. I'm into my 18th year of doing Moderately Confused. And I don't know, I haven't done the math on it, but that's a lot of gags. But I'll pass these around. These are usually end up in my trash can. But they're just they're just doodles. So they're just the ideas for cartoons. Some of them are on the backs. That's this one right here. If the image is more horizontal, it's more of an editorial cartoon. And if it's a vertical, you're looking at a moderately confused idea. Sometimes my contract is I only do 3 editorial cartoons a week. Sometimes I slip in a 4th. We just have a good president provide lots of fodder for me. So it's like so easy. The hardest thing is to get off of Trump and get on to something else, another issue that's important. So these are the editorial cartoons. I'll pass these around. I think these are all within the last couple of weeks. So, this one, pass this one, and this one. So these are all editorial cartoons. I economized, used the same paper. I actually cut it in half, and it's all done with brush and ink. I kind of do it all the old-fashioned way. The editorial cartoons I color myself, and I color them on a computer. And the editorial cartoon that I would typically do or think up today would be released for tomorrow. So I do those fairly quickly. And so those are not a lot of grass growing underneath those ideas. Where Moderately Confused, I have to sit back a little bit and think, is this idea going to hold up a month from now or even longer?
But and you passed around the one from 2 days ago.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, when I saw it, I thought, oh my God, he did this last night.
Whoa.
That was the one about if the president can say that I can too.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so timely.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, yeah, some issues you can guarantee that. I just did one on Elizabeth Warren that won't run until probably the end of August or early September. And I just know that she'll still be in this race, and it's general enough that it's that if something happens to her, I think it will still work. So those things always run through your mind, and I guess I've done this long enough that I know when I read an article or something spurs me to do a commentary or a gag on something, it's usually I'm looking at it as how are people going to read this tomorrow or the next day or a week from now. So editorial cartoons, you never know. An editor of a paper can run it any time they want. Moderately Confused all have dates on them, and so they're all dated to run today, tomorrow, the next day. Like that. Yeah.
Have you had some that they had to be like, we can't run this anymore because it's totally like irrelevant, or like it just doesn't work anymore?
You know, I've not heard of that, but I'm sure that happens. And you know, an editor has the option on editorial cartoons. Most editorial pages buy lots of different from lots of different cartoonists. Even though there are fewer of us out there, they usually buy from more than one source. And some papers will lean more liberal, some might be more conservative cartoonists, some go both ways so they have an open opinion on the page. I always consider mine to be probably not extreme liberal, but this president told you, I think he's got even conservative people thinking twice. So that's that end of my, and then the other, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've just gotten into watercolors a lot. And I've gotten into plein air painting. And Sharon Weiss she represents my watercolor art that I do. And so a lot of my art hangs in her gallery. And I'm very happy to have it represented there. But I do a lot of art. I'm producing stuff probably 2 or 3 times a week. I go out because I love the plein air painting. And I started that 4 or 5 years ago. I just, a couple of friends from college that I went to school with kind of drugged me out into a creek bed. And I just kind of fell in love with the painting live and painting in a natural environment. I've carried that to painting indoors too, but I enjoy painting outdoors. So I will pass these around. This one actually is my newest one. I just painted this a couple days ago. This was at the Jeffrey Mansion Park, and there were about, I'm painting sometimes on Monday nights with a group of artists, and they're all excellent artists to paint with, and a lot of fun. I might be the only watercolorist that, actually last Monday there was another watercolor artist that joined us. So this is from the big open area in the Jeffrey Mansion Park, and looking over the Shelter House, and so I'll pass those around, you can look at those. This was a piece that I did. Where did I do this? This was done recently, I forget. Here are 2 pieces that I participated in the Ohio State Fair. I've done that for the last 3 years, I think. And I was fortunate this year to win a prize and to sell both my pieces that were in the competition. These were a couple of extras that I just painted, and I'll pass those around this way. My wife works for the Columbus Symphony, and she's the education director for the Columbus Symphony. And so as an exercise, I've gone many times to rehearsals and just sat and painted or done little sketches of, but when I do a sketch, I like to just sketch in watercolors. So these are little watercolors that I did from the symphony, just sitting in the front row where there's a little bit of light that I can paint from. These are both recent little sketches that I did. We have a daughter that lives in Denver, and so I love to go paint every time I'm out there. This time, though, we had inclement day, so I didn't get out to paint, but I went to a bookstore called the Tattered Cover, and another little diner for breakfast, and I sat and painted there. These are other paintings that I did from Colorado. I think these were, this was one I did at a farm that was in, it was a farm that was between Denver and Colorado Springs. And I just kind of pulled off the road and set up and painted. And this was, I think this is looking out from Red Rocks. Yeah, Red Rocks. Sometimes I write on the back, but so I remember where I was. This was a farmer's market in Granville a couple weeks ago. A few of us went there and painted on a Saturday morning. And these are both a little bit bigger paintings, but paintings I did these both in Franklinton. These are both, this was with a group that I paint with on Monday nights. And these were both done this summer. This is a little farm. Where it is. You remember, Sharon? This was down in the gallery, but I can't. It's Slate Run Park. And this was. I painted in the morning, and I was so excited about this little painting that I took it over to Sharon, and she put it up in her window for a few weeks. But I love putting the human element in some of these.
I'd like to just add that Jeff is an excellent watercolorist. His colors and subject matters vary, and it's an honor to have his work at the galleries.
I live on Schiller Park. The city mows my 22-acre front yard. And so the October marathon runs by our house, and so last year I got out and just kind of obviously didn't get the people just as they did, but I did go out there and paint. It's kind of fun to capture it real quick. I'm trying to think where the heck this was. This was a competition, I think. This was over in Indiana, near Richmond, Indiana. This was a little stream in Richmond, Indiana. I wanted to bring this along because everyone asked me, do you have books? And I hate doing books. Books are terrible. They're wonderful for people to have as a keepsake, as a person that has done 3 books. They're all, they're not money makers. They take up a lot of time. And if I had somebody else put them together, that would be wonderful. I forget that this one's about 10 years old. It's the only one I ever did of Moderately Confused. And I looked it up last night just out of curiosity, and you can still go on Amazon and buy this book. So it's a Moderately Confused collection. I think it's probably my first 2, 3, 4 years. The date in it says published, I think, in 2009. So I'm going to. I don't know if you guys have any questions. I can talk more about Jim.
He's all for sale.
We talk to the proprietor right there.
So Jeff, when you're say you're setting up at the what do you call it, the orchestra, you're watching the performer play. What's your getup or setup look like?
Everything that I have I have a piece now at Sharon's that I really like a lot. And it's a juggler that I was sitting on the front porch 2 Sundays ago. Yeah. And he actually came and set up across the street from me. And I ran upstairs, I grabbed my backpack. Yeah. So everything's in a backpack. I got a board, So if I want to just use my lap and my paintings, keep my paints in front of me. I work fairly small, so these are done on easels. But I have a small, fairly portable easel. I think you can see it in that in the film, or the little segment for Rod and High.
Well, you wouldn't have that in the orchestra, right? You wouldn't have the.
I didn't take the easel. I just took my backpack. That's it. Backpack, and I had some papers and
Just a sketchbook or?
just that sketchbook because I just tore out those little
Yeah.
of the people. And I try to keep it as simple as possible because it just makes it so much easier. I have a few pencils in there and erasers, and then I keep all my watercolors in there. So I use tubes.